Hey guys, I'm currently standing on a 2007 Jeep Wrangler JK, and today we're going to be focusing on our rear track bar relocation bracket. This is going to apply to all models with a 2.5, 3.5, and 4.5 lift. This is going to go over your factory bracket. It does require this to fit, and it's going to relocate your track bar position higher to get your track set properly as it should be. On a two-door model, you're going to use our adjustable track bar to get the proper geometry due to the steep rear pinion angle on the two-door models. On a four-door, we recommend this bracket as the change in rear geometry is not as drastic as a two-door setup. For this purpose, we provide the bracket, allows you to relocate and use your factory rear track bar to properly adjust the track using these bolt hole locations for different lift heights. Some manufacturers just offer a relocation bracket that moves it right on top, which adds a weaker point due to the extra leverage that causes. With our bracket, we reinforce it around the axle tube and use the stock location as a mounting point, simply moving the location of the track bar higher while still getting added strength on the overall setup.
All right, my name's Kyle. Lucas is now behind the camera, so I'm going to take you through the steps to install our rear track bar relocation bracket. First step is to remove the rear axle bolt from the track bar. We went ahead and already loosened the track bar bolt on the frame. So first step, just remove this. There's going to be a nut tab on the back. And just make sure you get a hold of that. Nut tab comes out, and you're going to want to push the bolt with your finger from the back, apply some pressure. Bolt's going to come right out. Track bar will drop gently as long as you loosen that upper bolt. Do not remove the upper bolt, there's no need for it. All right, so with the rear track bar hanging and out of the way, we're going to mount up and align our rear track bar relocation bracket. This can confuse some people at first. A lot of people just try to go and place this over the mount or kind of, finagle it. But we do have this cutout here that slips over the OEM bracket, slides right into place like so. And you're going to align this lower bolt hole with the OEM bolt hole as so.
Now that the bracket is in position, we went ahead and installed the supplied spacer in between the OEM bracket and the inside edge of the new relocation bracket. This spacer is meant to be a tight fit, but once you get it installed and the holes are aligned, you will be able to install the OEM bolt. Couple taps. It'll run right through. You'll then use your OEM nut tab on the back side, and you'll want to tighten this down.
We're not going to tighten that nut tab down to torque spec yet. We're going to go ahead and install the back side of the clamp, and then once everything's started, we'll go through the torquing process. Now that we have the OEM bolt and the spacer installed with the OEM nut tab in the back loosely threaded, we are going to install the lower plate of the track bar bracket, and this just sits over the axle tube as seen here. And you're going to want to put the bolts through from the bottom, coming up, and you're going to want to use your supplied lock washer and nut, and you'll thread those on from the top. And you're not going to torque these yet. We're going to go in a tightening X pattern on all four of the bolts. We will be torquing these to 60 foot-pounds All right, so now we have all these 3/8 bolts started. We're gonna go in a X pattern for tightening. So we're gonna start on one side and go to the opposite corner. Okay, so the next step is to bring our track bar back up into place. Just gonna move around the shock there, around the bracket. You're gonna be installing it in the lower bolt hole. This bracket works for a variety of different setups, all the way from 2 to 6 inches. If you have an adjustable track bar, you can use the upper hole. It's all dependent on what your lift height is and what your setup looks like. You're gonna use the provided 9/16 hardware. Give it a slight tap. Send the bolt through. Then you'll use the provided washer and top lock nut on the opposite side. And you can tighten this down, but again, do not torque yet. We're gonna torque everything at the end. All right, so now that all the bolts are started, we are going to put the tires back on the vehicle, set the vehicle down so that the weight is resting on the suspension, and then we are going to begin the torquing procedure.
And with that, your new rear track bar relocation bracket is installed, and your lifted JK now has proper rear geometry and a reinforced mounting point, giving you better handling, improved ride quality, and long-term durability.